The radio stations of Door County DailyNews.com back at NEW Industries. This is really cool. I had a chance to walk through the factory before coming here, and I'm now meeting with Rosina and Dan. Thank you guys for taking some time and sharing your stories, your family, private, personal stories. This is really an honor.
You're welcome.
We're talking about this guy right here, Nick Foles, the starting quarterback for Super Bowl 52 in Minneapolis. And he happens to be the son-in-law of the Moores. Let's take a look at this jersey, Dan. Tell me about this specific jersey and what this one was about.
Well, this jersey is the jersey that Nick wore when they played the Oakland Raiders, which was I believe it was the second or third game. It was Christmas night. It was Monday Night Football on Christmas night of this last year. And people that watched the game will remember it was very, very cold. The weather conditions were horrendous. And it was difficult for anybody to play well. And it was a difficult game, but somehow, some way, they squeaked out a field goal right at the end. And as you can see by the back of his jersey, with the grass stains, he definitely spent some time on his back.
I was just going to rip on his offensive line a little bit here.
Yeah,
There's a few too many stains back here, boys. Yeah. So, are you instant Eagles fans when he's drafted? And you know that there's a little history with your daughter and him?
Yeah, even before he got drafted by the Eagles, I think the Eagles have always been an interesting team. Going years back, I've always been a football fan.
Yeah.
So, but to have somebody that's close to us go there and become an integral part of that has been pretty amazing. Plus, we've come to love the city of Philadelphia too. That's a great city.
What about the fans?
Talk about great food.
The
Oh
fans
yeah.
The fans are brutal.
The fans are
when they love you, they love you, but they boo their own players if they don't like what's
they're
going
tough.
on. So
we've seen situations there where the fans almost came onto the field. I mean, we were watching from a suite at that point. Thank goodness. Yeah, but it's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Okay, so some of the stories. He's had a roller coaster career too. What has it been like following his progress and now back to the top, the very top right now?
It's been, if you go onto Wikipedia and look up his name and go to Wikipedia, you'll get a list of everything that he's accomplished. And Wikipedia probably does the most accurate depiction of what's actually happened.
So the reporters look at that, huh?
Yeah, no, actually, I wish a lot of
there's so much inaccuracy out there.
There's so many inaccuracies. His obviously the 2013, the year he spent with Chip Kelly. Obviously Chip Kelly's approach in the NFL was very unique in how he ran his team, and Nick fit into that. A lot of people thought Nick wouldn't fit into that because they thought it was going to require more of a running type quarterback, and
they wanted like 70 snaps.
They were dead wrong. Yeah, and he was the most efficient at running Chip's offense. But the next year, I don't know. We still can't figure out what Chip was thinking. But he started trading away all their talent, and then he traded for Bradford, Sam Bradford from the Rams, and to this day, even the sports talking heads that tend to be critical of everything, even those guys still can't figure out what he was doing. It just seemed really out of place, and unfortunately, it really sent Nick's career kind of in a downward spiral because now he was going to an organization that was the epitome of dysfunction in the NFL. I mean, I won't go into a lot of detail, but it would be as if like this company was completely dysfunctional. It would, if it was. I'm saying this place would not be the place that it is. So he, that's what brought him to. After being there for a year, that's what brought him to a point where he was actually considering retiring from the sport because it had been so rough.
Was he there for a year or two?
It was 1 year, right?
Well, no, 2, because they were in St. Louis his first year with the Rams, and then they moved
to LA. That's right.
Yeah.
So
I think.
But he never played in LA. So it really was just the year 2015, and he started there. And the funny thing is, everybody looks back on that time as if he had no success there. But if you go look at the facts are like in the first 7 games of the year, putting aside the Green Bay game was they just got demolished in Green Bay. But the other ones, he was in the top tier of quarterback ratings for those other games, in spite of playing behind a horrendous offensive line. But then after about 7 games, things just went from bad to worse with the team. And that's when eventually they put him on the bench and had Case Keenum play. And that's when kind of the downward spiral got to be more significant. But Nick looks back on it now and realizes that it sent him into a time in his life where his personal growth ends up being off the chart. The fact that he almost retired and then what he went through to make that decision, no, I'm going to keep going, that was a use the word tipping point, turning point in his life, and boy, does he benefit from that now, having gone through that.
So 2 years, Philadelphia realizes what they had. They bring him back as a backup. Carson Wentz.
Well, first he went to Kansas City. In other words, and Kansas City was a key component in this process because Andy Reid is the one that had originally drafted him in Philadelphia. Andy Reid is now the head coach at Kansas City, and Andy Reid knew that Nick was considering retiring, so Andy Reid got in touch with Nick, kind of shared some stories with him about what he had been through in his career, and got Nick to thinking about it. And Nick finally kind of just decided, you know what, I'm gonna do this with Kansas City. So he signed a 1-year deal with Kansas City, and of course in Kansas City he's playing behind Alex Smith, and Alex Smith of course is an accomplished quarterback, but I don't know if you remember, but there was a point in that season where Alex Smith had a concussion and Nick had to go into a game against the Colts. I think that was in Indianapolis, and just went in and lit it up. Threw two incredible touchdown passes, won the game. And then the following week, they had a game, I think he started against Jacksonville, and they beat Jacksonville. So those were his 2 games in Kansas City. And then at the end of that season, we felt there's a pretty good chance Kansas City would re-sign him. But Kansas City really never got their stuff together. It was really strange what they were doing. And that's when other teams started to jump in, including the Eagles, the Dallas Cowboys. I can't remember if I'm missing some. There was, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I think the Eagles, there was a big draw there because he had played there. He still knew a lot of people on the team. He knew what their offense was like, and he knew that offense would be a good fit for him.
They were giving him his old number back.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So he just felt a connection there that I think he was really happy to go back to,
So then having now this season that the Eagles had, defense, incredible. Carson Wentz lighting it up for a couple seasons in a row now, right? He's one of the biggest names in NFL.
This was Carson's second year. Carson's first year, he played really well the first half of the year, and then the second half of the year was a little more learning process, I think, for Carson. But no doubt this year, Carson was, he still might be the MVP this year. I have no idea.
He's an incredible
But Carson is, there's no question Carson is a fabulous quarterback. And a great kid, too.
So then the injury, the ACL, the knee injury, and it's Nick time again.
Well, all season long, we're watching every game. You realize that you're just one injury away from him having to go in and be the starter. But you probably at the beginning of the season wouldn't want that to happen right on like week 14, right when you're trying to secure.
That would be the toughest.
The NFC title, home field advantage.
And Carson had done so well that those are big shoes to walk into, and
they are.
And
Plus,
you haven't worked with the first team offense all season.
That's the worst part, I think, for backup quarterbacks. You get no reps.
No, you get none, and he didn't even play in preseason because he was having some issues at that point, some health issues with his arm, and they decided they would rather rest him than play him. So. And that was a good thing that they agreed to rest him because he needed the rest. But you're not going to just step right in and all of a sudden you're Tom Brady. It just doesn't work that way,
So how did he deal with it? I mean, I'm sure you got calls from your daughter too. I mean, you watched. You're excited for him.
You mean deal with
when he started?
When it happened?
The weight of the NFL world was on his shoulders.
Well, even that night even that day Carson got hurt out in L.A.
Yeah.
Nick relates the story. I don't remember the exact story, but he's on the sideline. I think you almost want to go, oh my gosh, I got to go in. And not only that, we're down by 2 points, I think it was.
We're
and it's a key part.
Away.
It's a key part of the game. It was the beginning of the fourth quarter, and you got to go out and do well, not make mistakes. And I remember that because there was one key play. I don't know if you remember. It was 3rd and 8, and they had to get the first down. He had just before that he had already thrown a ball to one of his wide receivers over the middle that the guy might have gone all the way for a touchdown, and he just dropped the ball. It was right in his hand. But on this 3rd and 8, he threw an unbelievable pass to I think it was Aguilar. I'm pretty sure. And they got the first down. They ended up getting a field goal to win the game. I think it was.
Yeah. How did he handle it? A lot of prayer.
Yeah.
Well.
And just he was prepared, but you're thrown into a whole different kind of schedule when you are the starter.
So his agent probably has big things in mind for this offseason. I mean, he just led the Eagles to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, Nick has another year in his contract with.
Sure, he would like to start somewhere though. Doesn't every NFL quarterback want to start?
Yeah. I think that the answer to that is yes, with the following footnote, and that footnote would be that Nick has played long enough, and he's wise enough, having played long enough, that he's not going to put himself into a situation where he can't be successful. You know, I think these quarterbacks, after they've been in the league for a while, they know where their strengths are, and they want to get into an offense that complements those strengths. So he wouldn't just say yes because somebody is offering some big contract or something. That's just the way Nick's wired. It's just not who he is.
He would only go somewhere else that fit him, you know?
Yeah, and I do think there probably will be opportunities, but see, here's the problem is that the Philadelphia Eagles have to deal with the fact that Carson Wentz's injury could go well into the first part of next year before he's ready to play. So do you really want to trade Nick away?
The answer is probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. You know,
How
those
sweet
things.
the deal. Yeah,
Once everything is over and the smoke clears, they'll start dealing with those issues. Who knows?
Do you guys know if he relishes the underdog role? Because he's in that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think he does.
Oh,
I think
likes
he
that.
prefers it because Nick doesn't like. You know, this is hard for Nick because he doesn't like the high profile.
He's got her now.
It's hard for him. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean,
But
he's
I
just
think
a
he's
really
fine
humble
with it.
guy, and
Yeah.
so he just kind of, you know, takes all of it in stride as far as all the,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
All right, Mom. We need an embarrassing Nick story. Give me something fun. Nothing bad. What
Gosh.
makes him tick? What's funny about Nick? What are something we can't read on his Wikipedia
Well,
page?
how about when the fans compared him to who was that figure on TV?
Napoleon Dynamite. I've seen that
Dynamite,
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's funny.
I've never watched Napoleon Dynamite.
You're not
so
missing
I don't
anything.
know.
Yeah, I mean that.
What are some of his hobbies? What are some of his interests outside off the football field?
Okay.
He's really into health and nutrition. I can tell you that.
Okay.
He knows a lot
Yeah.
about it.
Huh.
He is really into his biblical studies. I mean, he reads a ton.
He went to Liberty University. Did a program last off season, and I think he's just going to keep doing that to get.
He wants to get his
he wants to be
master's.
like,
Yeah.
and
Do you think
help
he'll preach
pastor young
someday?
kids.
He would like to. Yeah, he would like to.
Yeah, and
do
he's done some speaking.
Yeah.
You know, at different churches.
Yeah. He's a nut about taking care of his body, that's for sure. But you know, you have to. That's how you're making your living. But
Yeah.
as you might know, they had a child in June of last year, so they have little
Yeah,
Lily.
so Lily is kind of the main focus for both of them.
And are they
Yeah.
Philadelphia's home off season and regular season?
No. Their off season is in Southern California.
Okay.
It's in Newport Beach. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they did buy a home back outside of Philadelphia in New Jersey, but when they're done there, they'll sell that. They'll sell that home. Yeah.
He's a country music fan.
All right,
He's
good,
country.
good.
He is,
He's
yeah.
from
Love him,
Austin.
104.
You know.
Yeah, he's from Austin,
His
Texas.
parents are
yeah.
in the restaurant business, so he loves food.
Yeah, his dad's
So he and Tori love cooking and food.
a very successful restaurateur, and I think that when Nick is through with football, that's probably what he'll do is start going to work with, in some of the restaurants and that business.
Where
with his
prayer
dad.
before the meal is mandatory.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
that. So, what do you buy an NFL quarterback for Christmas? What was the last
That's
Christmas
really
gift?
hard.
I drew his name because we do names. I drew his name.
What do you give that guy?
You know what? It's amazing. I got away very easy actually because he loves watches.
No kidding.
And the world today of watches,
Oh.
you don't have to go out and spend $5,000 on a watch.
No.
You could spend a couple $100 and get a really nice looking watch.
Well, that's
So I bought him a unique watch
That's
with kind of a
great.
unique band, and he loved it.
It's really good.
And he
wondering.
collects them. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah.
So most NFL guys have a thing for shoes. Nick is watches.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's his fetish.
he's got so many
Yeah.
shoes. Yeah.
Shoes
There's
too.
no doubt about
Shoes too.
that. Yeah.
Well, what is the Door County connection? Because we've heard he's been here working out at the YMCA. People have spotted him, and with you
Us.
guys. I
Yeah.
mean, how often does he come back to visit?
They haven't been here.
It's been a
for
while now because they had the baby and then all this football stuff going on.
But they do love to come here.
He loves it. He loves it.
He
here.
really got into biking a couple of years ago in the
Yeah.
off season, like.
I think I might have
June,
told you that
July.
story about him riding from where we live out by Clark Lake all the way to the YMCA and then
Yeah.
doing his full workout and then riding back. And he loved. He was gone at 5:30 in the morning, to do the workout.
Yeah.
He loves it.
Yeah, they do enjoy it because it's quiet and they can
Yeah.
feel like they can just, do a
So
lot of
that-
outdoor stuff.
Quiet life might be more difficult. I mean, as you become a starting quarterback and now a Super Bowl quarterback,
Yeah.
you can't go anywhere now. without
I can't
someone.
even imagine. Let's say, which I think they will. Let's say they win the Super Bowl.
All right, you're putting a prediction out there.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely.
that. I was going to ask.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with Eric Dickerson on this. He was recorded yesterday as saying, Eagles will win the Super Bowl, and he says you should not consider this an upset.
Really?
And then he elaborated a little bit after. I thought that was pretty cool.
This is the weakest New England team they've had in a while.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you.
This is the last year of the regime too, right?
Yes,
Both assistants,
yes.
offensive coordinator, defensive
Yeah.
coordinator
That's
leaving.
right.
This is the end of the era,
There
I
could be
think.
some major changes.
And Philly
there,
will
yeah.
end it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I think they can do it, definitely.
Yeah.
It's not.
How nervous is your daughter with this game?
I
Tori, I would imagine has to be a
She-
wreck on the side.
she's
in the
a
I
busy
stands.
think
girl.
every week that has gone on since he started has been just, it gets raised, the excitement level and nervousness. And, I think they just try to keep it in perspective and realize that this is a, short time, that this is going to last, and just be thankful, for it. And that they can't wait to relax.
They told us they sit
Yeah.
down every night for about 30 minutes and just block out that 30 minutes just to talk about what happened that day and
Turn
how
their
they're
phones
feeling
off.
about things and how do we keep everything in perspective, Meanwhile, I'm trying to keep myself off the internet because I read these ridiculous articles where guys are taking stuff out of context. They're pulling information that is half information. And like, for example, the comment that this is the best game that Nick's ever played, this last one, right? And I suppose if you add the fact that it was an NFC championship and it was against one of the best defenses in the NFL, maybe that would be correct, but that's not the way it's stated. And then you go back and look at the stats and you go, what do you mean? He's had unbelievable number of games in that quarterback rating
But nobody
range.
looks at all those details like you.
No, they
Yeah.
don't. They don't.
You're a
They
defensive father-in-law.
don't.
Usually it's the other way
Absolutely.
around, man.
Better
You're quick to
believe
push-
it. Yeah.
He, ask him any
Better
fact,
believe
he
it.
will tell you.
That's great.
Most of them. I have to brush up every once in a while. Yeah.
Will you guys be at Bank One Stadium next Sunday?
Yes, we will.
We will be there.
Yes, we will.
What's the
be
seating
there.
arrangement?
Well, we don't even know yet exactly where we're sitting.
No,
The
we
the
don't.
players get a certain
Yep.
number of tickets, but amazingly, some people think they're all free. They're not.
No.
They
No.
get 2 comp and the rest of them are expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so how does that work? Because he's got to try to bargain with someone from somebody else, right? Because he's got parents to take care of.
Well,
Yeah, and he's got
They give
a
them.
family and friends from
Yeah.
Austin that are coming.
Yeah.
So they, there's a way to get
Okay.
more than you're allotted.
Yeah, they
Good.
kind of
Because
work the
not every
system.
player uses all their own.
That's
so
true. That's true.
yeah, it's all getting worked out, I guess.
It's
So-
gonna
It's going to be
It's
such a
gonna
fun
be
week
fun.
for you guys.
Oh,
When are you heading
it's-
over?
I'm going Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thursday, I'm going to go be with Tori because Nick leaves, I think, Sunday. The team leaves
And
Sunday.
Rosina's going to go back
So I'm
and
going to go help
fly
her
out
out
with Tori.
with
Yeah.
Tori and
The
Lily.
baby.
the
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
So-
Unbelievable. Well, thank you so much for sharing these stories.
Oh, you're
So, do
welcome.
you want to put a score on the record too? I mean, you said Philadelphia is going to win. Do we?
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't really thought about that,
You
to
know
be
what?
honest with you. I just want to win. I
A
don't
win
care
is a
what the
win,
score is.
whatever it is. A win is a win.
I would have to think it would be close. That's what I thought about the Minnesota game.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, if the game is going to be lopsided at all, I think it'll be in the Eagles' favor. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
If
I
they,
hope you're right.
If they can put together the kind of game they put together against Minnesota,
Yeah.
I think it would be really difficult for New England to beat them at this point in time.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah.
The last question I'm going to ask each of you, and I hope you have different answers, but I know that one of the words will probably be the same for both of you. What 3 words would you use to describe Nick Foles? What 3 words would you use to describe Nick Foles? Ladies first.
Well, okay, faithful, kind, loves his family. So, whatever that word would be.
I like it.
For me, I think number one, incredible integrity. He's incredibly credible, for sure, and considering what he's accomplished, he's amazingly humble. Yeah.
That's what best describes Nick Foles. Good luck. A new family of Door County fans starting in Door County. Thanks to the Moore family. Thank you again for allowing us inside NAW Industries and for sharing these great stories.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
A DoorCountyDailyNews.com exclusive.